The mansion was alive again, or at least it pretended to be. Light streamed through crystal chandeliers. Maids hurried down the corridors with fabric swatches and flower samples, and Naima's voice echoed from room to room. But Jasim Khan sat quietly in his study, untouched by all the noise. The faint rustle of silk and the sound of laughter felt like ghosts brushing past him, reminders of a world he no longer belonged to. He watched as Naima entered, holding a box of gold bangles. "Brother, look," she said, forcing cheer into her voice. "These are for her, your future wife." Jasim's brows furrowed slightly. He looked at her as if trying to recall what that word, wife, even meant anymore. Naima smiled stiffly. "You should see what we're getting for her. After all, she's about to become part of this house." He turned his wheelchair toward the window, uninterested, distant. "Do what you want," he murmured. "Just don't expect me to play a part." Naima said nothing more, placing the box quietly on the table beside him. Inwardly, she and Raida had already decided not to tell him too much. They feared that if Jasim saw her photo, if he knew how breathtakingly beautiful Jannat was, he might refuse. He had been very clear. No young girls, no dreams, no expectations. And Jannat was all of those things. So, the sisters lied by omission. They told him only that the girl was simple, from a struggling family, someone who needed stability, not affection. Meanwhile, Naima and Raida had gone far beyond simple. They had sent Nazreen with a dowry that could make anyone's head spin, embroidered bridal dresses, heavy jewelry, and 5 lakh rupees in cash as a confirmation gift. Just to seal the alliance, Naima had told Nazreen. "Wedding ceremony will be after a week, a small, family affair. We'll hold a reception later, once they're comfortable." It sounded practical, but even Naima knew it was rushed. Across the city, in a modest house draped with false excitement, the rush felt heavier. Razia was in constant motion, shouting orders, polishing dishes, whispering to Nazreen, hiding her guilt under layers of forced cheer. "Make it quick, Nazreen," she hissed. "Before my husband starts asking questions. Tell them yes, we agree. We'll do the wedding soon. They're rich people. They'll manage everything." Nazreen nodded eagerly, pocketing her commission. In the corner of the room, Jannat sat quietly, folding a plain dupatta between her fingers. She didn't understand the sudden hurry. A week ago, no one had even mentioned marriage, and now her stepmother couldn't stop talking about it. "Mom," she asked softly, "why so soon? Father hasn't even met them properly." Razia turned sharply. "When fate knocks, you don't make it wait, Jannat. Families like these don't come every day. They're respectable people, they've seen your photo, and they've already agreed." But Jannat hesitated, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't even know his name." Razia's lips tightened. "His name is Jasim," she said, showing a picture of him, tall, handsome, confident, taken from an old business event. Jannat stared at the photo, stunned. Was she really that lucky? To marry him, a man who looked like he belonged to a world she'd only seen in dreams? But somewhere deep inside, a strange unease flickered, a feeling she couldn't name. "Just be grateful, sweetie," Razia said, softening her tone. "You'll live like a queen. You'll never have to worry again." Across the room, Nadia, Razia's own daughter, was fuming quietly. She had overheard enough to know something didn't add up. She watched her mother flutter around, packing boxes of sweets and clothes. "Strange," she muttered under her breath. "The richest family in the city came for her, not me. And Mom's fine with it." Her eyes darted to Jannat, Simple cotton clothes, bare face, unbothered grace. The kind of beauty that didn't need polish. And that only made the jealousy sharper. That night, when Janet's father came home, weary but gentle as always, Razia greeted him with exaggerated warmth. "The Khan family has sent word," she said cheerfully. "They've confirmed the alliance. They even sent gifts, look." He looked at the boxes stacked in the corner, glittering faintly in the dim light. "They sent all this already?" "Yes," Razia replied quickly. "They're in a hurry. They want to do the Nikah next week, small and simple. They'll handle all the arrangements." He frowned, uncertainty clouding his tired eyes. "Next week? That's too soon, Razia. Jannat is my daughter. She deserves time, a proper wedding, some preparation." Razia forced a smile. "They're good people. They said they'll host everything themselves. We shouldn't delay their wish." Her husband nodded slowly, trusting her word as he always had. "If you're sure they're good people." "Oh, they're the best," she assured him sweetly. But when he left the room, her face hardened. "If we wait," she whispered to herself, "the truth will come out, and everything will fall apart." At the Khan mansion, preparations continued with quiet haste. The decorators hung fresh jasmine at the entrance. The chef was instructed to prepare simple dishes for a private ceremony, and Naima supervised every detail. "Everything should look elegant, but not extravagant," she told the planner. "It's a family Nikah, not a social event." Inside his room, Jasim watched the flurry of servants through his half-open door. He had agreed to marry, in words, not in spirit. When Raida entered, holding a wedding sherwani, he didn't even glance at it. "Keep it anywhere," he said quietly. "I won't be wearing it for long." She smiled faintly. "You might like her, bye." "I don't want to like her," he replied, calm but firm. "It's easier that way for both of us." His eyes drifted toward the window, where the sky bled gold into gray. In his silence, there was a strange peace, or perhaps surrender, as if he had already accepted that happiness was a story written for other people. Back in the small house, Janet's world spun faster than she could understand. Tailors came and went, bangles were measured, fabric chosen. None of it felt real. Nadia stood at the mirror, holding one of the bridal dupattas against her own head, her reflection glowing under the dim bulb. "They should have chosen me," she whispered bitterly. "They'll regret it soon enough." Razia caught her reflection and gave a cold smile. "Don't worry, daughter," she murmured. "You'll have everything too in time." But deep inside, she thought only of freedom, the freedom she'd gain once Jannat was gone. And Jannat, sitting quietly by the window, stared at the wedding dress folded neatly in her lap. It shimmered under the lamplight, too grand, too heavy, too unreal. Her heart trembled with questions she couldn't ask. Who was he? Why so soon? And why did every word from her stepmother's mouth sound rehearsed? But fate had stopped listening. In just 1 week, her life and his would be tied by vows neither of them understood. And somewhere between the glitter of gold and the silence of truth, destiny waited for the sound of wedding bells. That would change everything.